Welcome to today's edition of Tech Savvy, and today's looking at emails and how to write them and how to use the option of sending blind copies, which not always people remember to do. So today's Tech Savvy is a very basic one, but one that I think is quite necessary as people adopt all kinds of strange ways of doing emails. I didn't know somebody who would always put either the same email subject for every email he used, or whether a person didn't actually put anything in the subject line. So let's go and explore how to send an email and what etiquette we might use to make that more applicable to people. So I'm going to use basic email from sorry, I haven't clicked the share screen, have I? Silly me. So here we go. So we're going to actually look at how to use a basic email client such as Outlook. And we will certainly go to here to show you how that is working. This is the basic one that's built into Word, and you can usually find it on your Windows 10 desktop here. It's a suitable one for people who might have disabilities as well, because it's very clearly set out what it does. And so the composition of an email is that there has to be an address. The address sits in the from section of the email. Then you have to send your email to somebody. So you don't necessarily have to write in all the email address. And of course, for a demonstration like this, I'm making sure you're not seeing too many people's information apart from mine. So I'm going to start to write in here and see if it appears in the list. And yes, here we are, several addresses that we can write to. So all I do is just click on it and it goes into the area. Now, there's a certain section, if you're sending an email to a group of people, I would strongly advise that you use the BCC setting, not the CC. That's carbon copy, which means that you're sending that email to not just one person, but maybe several others, and you want them to see each other's emails, but to actually send it as a BC copy, which stands for blind carbon copy. And this is very necessary when sending to groups, like if you're sending a mailing list out. So I will use my other email address for that and send that to there. And then the bit that I said that some people leave out, which is putting a subject in there. So I'm just going to say email etiquette, and we will put that as the subject heading. It's good to make this relevant to the content that you're about to use. And then one of the most important things is, how do you address? What's your different methods? So I'm going to show a few. You could say dear if you know the person. You could also just begin the email and just start talking like that. But what you must never do is do this. Right? Typing in capital letters, because in the internet speak, that is shouting. And so you don't want to be shouting at people, do you? So I would strongly advise against doing that. So you can then begin to write maybe dear, or what I prefer is a kind of friendly one. And so if you know the person, you might want to use their names, or if you're not sure what it is, you could use a more formal method. Hi, Mr. Pilling. That wouldn't work. So you might use dear for such a thing if you're not sure who you are writing to. But in any case, it's important to use the right address. So I will just use the hi, Miles. Good. And then you begin to write. Good to have this opportunity. And if you noticed, I have something on the screen here that's actually giving me words. This is built into Windows 10. And I'm going to break my rule of not showing more than one thing at a time and show you where that is. So if I go to settings, And if I go to the actual home area and type in typing suggestions, typing settings, it will take me to an area where it says show text suggestions as I type on the software keyboard. That comes in, and then what you find is that you've got this position of, if you're not a great speller, you can actually switch that on and use that to tell you about typing suggestions. So that's just a little bit of a useful aside. So how would you end your email? Well, quite simply, you can end it with your name. You could also end it with yours, or if you don't know them very well, yours faithfully. If you are somebody that you are trusting, or if it's a business letter, yours sincerely. I have to say, a lot of people don't use those terms these days, which is a shame. So what would be useful is just deciding how you want to end your email. I'm just going to sign off with my name. So you can actually add something called a signature. And on this package, it's very basic, and therefore there isn't many signature options on here. But on some things like Outlook, you can actually find a place where you can add a signature automatically. So for me, it would just be Tech Savvy on this instance. And if you wanted to really do that, you could actually have it in italics to make it stand out as different to the main text, or just leave it as it is. Sometimes you might put a telephone number or the email address, whatever you choose to use, but that would be the tool that you would use. And then, of course, you would send it. So I'm going to do that now, and that will appear in my email list. I'll stop sharing now and come back to the main screen. Hi there. So that's just a little bit about how you would deal with email etiquettes. There's a lot more. Perhaps you would like a session on how to create a group email to send out, but do by all means use BCC. It is kind of embarrassing to see 100 email addresses that you didn't mean to send out. So my final email tip is check twice, click once. That means make sure that you've got everything the way you want it to be sent, because you can't retrieve an email once it's sent, at least not in my opinion. Once it's gone, it's gone. And it's very important that you don't send it to the wrong person, or that you send it by mistake, or you send out all those email addresses to people who don't really want to see it. So that's me, Tech Savvy today. Thank you for watching, and I'll say goodbye for now. Bye.